Let me remove the spotlight. All right. Good evening and welcome to the Philadelphia Drama Center's Witching Hour. I am Caitlin Seary and I'm very proud to show off our first Halloween reading showcase. So proud that I decided to dress up for the occasion as an umbrella drink. As you can see, I brought my own umbrella and this hat is the cherry. And I dressed up as a Mai Tai. In any case, if you don't know about the PDC, then the PDC is a playwriting organization by Philadelphia playwrights for Philadelphia playwrights. We have happy hours every second and fourth Monday at 7 p.m., long table reads every first Sunday at 2 p.m., and we also have our monthly podcast, Philly DramaCast, every first Saturday at 1 p.m., and a collection of dramaturgs ready to look over your work. If you want to register for our happy hours and long table reads, click on the links in the chat. They should appear in a minute. There they are. We've got a link for the happy hour and a link for the long table reads. You can find our podcast on all major distributors, including our website, pdc1.org. And if you have any questions, hit us up on pdcopportunities@gmail.com. We're also experimenting with doing different types of showcases on Zoom, too, such as tonight's Witching Hour by the PDC's own Delphina. She's done some great work for us before, including on our Thin Line Between Love and Hate show in this year's Philly Theater Week. And I thought she'd like to do a show during the Fringe season. Delphina preferred to do her showcase during Halloween because the nights would be longer then. Go figure. Before I switch over to our host, Delphina, we have a few rules to the audience to make sure the show goes smoothly. And it looks like most of you already know these rules already. If you aren't muted, then please mute yourself right now. If you haven't stopped your video, then please stop it right now. Make sure those red lines are running right through that little microphone icon and camera icon on the bottom left-hand side of your screen. That should be the same on both your mobile devices and on computers and tablets. Also, please switch your screens to gallery mode so you can see all the actors at the same time. You can do that by clicking the view button on the upper right-hand corner and switching from speaker mode to gallery mode. Finally, please please click on the three dots in the upper right-hand side of your box on the screen and select the option that says Hide Non-Video Participants. If you're on a mobile phone, you should be able to watch the play without having to do this. And now, give it up for Delphina.
Good evening. I didn't see you come in. But look at that. You're right on time. The witching hour is about to begin. My name is Delphina. I'll be your host this evening. You must know the story of Count Dracula, written at the end of the 19th century by Bram Stoker, an Irishman better known at that time for his job as the manager of the Lyceum Theatre and the assistant of the famous actor Sir Henry Irving than for his novels and short stories. Did you know that Count Dracula first came to Mr. Stoker in a dream? But dreams are fickle things, and the visions which come to us in the night may not always be what we expect. Do you ever think, if you had only had a different dream on a different night, that your whole life may have turned out quite differently? This is The Crustacean Count by Charlie Allison. Enjoy.
Scene 1. Late in the evening, March 7th, 1890. Bram Stoker is sitting at his writing desk. His wife, Florence Stoker, is in bed, wondering why her husband has started feverishly scribbling a bit of Lyceum Theatre stationery like a madman. As the scene begins, Bram Stoker finally stops writing and slumps back in his chair.
Bram, come back to bed.
Just a moment more.
Is something wrong? You just burst out of bed and started writing like mad.
Too much wine at dinner, had bad dreams. I often do after dining at the Beefsteak Room, but their seafood is so damn good I usually don't mind.
And you had to write the dreams down?
Better than keeping them in my head, by far.
What did you dream?
Most peculiar things.
Well, I mean, I'm awake now.
A young man goes out, sees girls. One tries to kiss him, not on lips, but on throat. Old Count interferes, rage and fury diabolical. This man belongs to me. I want him.
Oh, a rousing dream then? Was that it?
No, I'm afraid that wasn't it at all. It went on.
Well, bad luck to leave a dream unfinished. Does it get saucier?
Decidedly not.
Oh, well, go on. I don't have all night.
As you say, I blame the seafood. I am back at dinner with that horrible and marvelous old Count, sitting to eat Titanic crab on plate, not dead, great, staring yellow eyes, clacking, claws reaching out for me, couldn't move, staring yellow eyes, claws out for my blood. It looks deep into me and hates. The Count simply laughs at my fear, wiggling his eyes on stalks, and when I rise to flee, I see his hands have become crab claws, terrible, encrusted, grasping things.
Well, you're not going out to the Beefsteak Room for some time with horror dreams like that, are you, Bram?
No, dear. Not for a while, at any rate.
Come back to bed then. Leave the writing for now.
Nothing will likely come of it anyway. Good night, Florence.
Scene 2. Bram Stoker is sitting in his bedroom office 6 years later, 1896. He's hunched over a writing desk, which has changed greatly since we last saw him madly scribbling. He's back at the scribbling, but the cedar desk is wobbling under the weight of a score of books. Some align neatly spine to spine, others lie splayed open and scattered. Near the door, in fact, dangerously close to the entrance, lies a tank filled with two things: sand and chittering little orange crabs. Sir Henry Irving pushes his way into the room. Every single line of his body language screams, very annoyed man with a knighthood who resents his time being wasted.
Bram, you have some explaining to do.
Stoker doesn't react at all. No shift of the shoulders, no cough, no turn to see his new guest. The only sound he is concerned with is the scratch of his pen on paper and the turn of pages as he double-checks a factoid. Irving may as well not exist.
You missed this morning's meeting and the dress rehearsal after that at Lyceum. What are you playing at? What are you doing, Bram? Research? Sea monsters unmasked, superstition and forces, sea fables explained, an account of the principalities of Wallachia and Moldavia?
Oh, hello, Sir Henry. I didn't see you there. You know, it's rude to enter a room without knocking.
As I've already said, you've missed another meeting and rehearsal, Bram.
Was that today?
Yes, it was very definitely today.
Time must have gotten away from me. I'm having trouble deciding on the title of my novel.
He's in this moment of pique that Henry Irving finally noticed the pictures of crabs adorning Stoker's writing desk. Crudely forced into the wood with metal staples, fluttered diagrams, everything from kings, fiddlers, and Tasmanian giant crabs. Pages cut from anatomy books showed both human and crab physiognomy. Shell-shedding diagrams, crushing strength of heavy claws, analyzed with neatly printed numbers, alongside brightly illuminated maps of human veins, muscles, and ventricles, painted in arterial reds and sky blues.
I don't give a damn what you call your novel, Bram.
But I had you in mind for a starring role. Look at all I have done and will do. You'll be enthralling as the Count.
I am looking at what you're doing, Bram. And what's all this nonsense? Diagrams of crabs split open, cross-sectioned? And where'd that figure of a man come from? An anatomy textbook? And this one? It looks like a man becoming a giant crab. What are you wasting your time on?
That one is a Tasmanian crab. Big fellow, no? And that one, the spider crab, I think it's molting its shell, and the robber crab can climb a tree like a squirrel. Fascinating creatures, crabs. And when you combine them with some of the folklore coming out of the Baltics, you can get some wonderful, terrible dreams. Undying things that walk under the...
I will give you some time to recover your senses, Bram. I'll see you tomorrow at 9 sharp. We have a lot of work to do.
Quite right. Dreadfully sorry about all this. But work is work.
I will see myself out then. Make yourself presentable and we'll talk later.
Irving turns to leave and trips headlong over something at knee height. He bolts back to his feet, livid.
What in the hell did I just trip over?
Bram goes to the object that Irving had so spectacularly fallen over. It is the large glass tank filled with scuttling orange crabs.
The man who sold them to me called them vampire crabs.
Scene 3. Inside the Lyceum Theater. It's about a year later, May 18th, 1897, to be precise. Bram Stoker is sitting in the front row facing the stage, in between Florence Stoker and Sir Henry Irving.
Isn't this a bit small of a crowd for a play, particularly one of yours, Bram? The three of us and those two down there?
Don't need a big crowd for this particular show. 2 would have been enough. Just enough. The idea is to get the copyright with the debut. My novel won't be out for a week yet, so you do a quick read to reserve the rights. Easy as 1, 2, 3. The main event will be after the novel comes out.
I see, Bram. Oh, so clever. Isn't that a bit hard on the actors? They can't be getting much pay with this small crowd.
I'm sure this will be a big hit when we get to the full productions. I still haven't decided on the title for the novel the play is based on. The Undying, or Count Dracula, the Crustacean Count, Crabula. What do you think?
I should think that such fanciful fiddle-faddle should be kept out of the title, if not the work itself.
No matter. Sir Henry, I'm sure you'll come around. You've played Mephistopheles more times than I've had hot dinners. I'm sure you'll make a magnificent Count in the final production.
We shall see, Bram. We shall see.
The play begins with a fanfare and announcement.
Why does Count Dracula talk in such a strange way to his solicitor Harker? Oh, why is he saying, Harker Jonathan, all the time?
Well, he's a foreigner, so he can't very well speak perfect English, can he?
And the Count moves so queerly. Are those supposed to be crab claws under his robes? Did he just pop out his eye on a stalk?
Yes. Yeah, yes.
Oh, Bram! I love the alliteration. The necropolis at Nicopolis just sort of trips off the tongue, doesn't it, Bram? Where's Nicopolis?
Now it's Russian, but it used to be Turkish, near Wallachia and Hungary.
Ah, I see. And what are those ladies doing to Mr. Harker while he's pretending to be asleep? Do they want to have a go at him? They've already got his shirt off. Bram, do those ladies have squid parts for heads?
Yes, it's metaphor, darling. Think nothing of it.
This is what comes of having rousing dreams on a seafood diet, is all I'm saying.
So the Count is some kind of a crab demon? And what's Harker doing with that shovel? Why is Count Dracula lying in the mud?
Dracula is resting during the day. He's restoring his strength, and Harker wants to do him in with the shovel as part of his escape from the necropolis. It doesn't work. Kite.
What's the Count doing to Miss Mina? Is he drinking her insides with his eye stalks?
He's turning her into a creature of the eternal deeps, darling.
Ah, all right then. You are sure you got that, Sir Henry?
Yes, quite, Mrs. Stoker. Thank you for your concern. I do so appreciate it.
Professor Vinshuffle is using holy silver and holy salt in conjunction with a giant stake and hammer to destroy Count Dracula on the very shores of his necropolis. The silver holds him in place. The salt shrivels up his eyes. You guys both got that. No questions at the last minute.
You ruined the final scene.
All right, then.
The play ends. The people in the front row applaud.
I have seen quite enough.
Sir Henry, I think you'd make a wonderful Count Dracula in the final production. Well, what did you think of the play? I mean,
Simply dreadful, Abraham. Just simply dreadful. All that fantastical rubbish. Good day to you.
Sir Henry Irving knits his way out, leaving Bram Stoker crestfallen and heartbroken.
Oh, Bram, that's awful. I know you had your heart set on Henry. Well, you know what? Maybe those two fellows at the end of the row liked your play. The man with the coat and the lady with the hat. Why don't you go ask them?
of course. Good idea. Capital.
Bram Stoker follows the two strangers off stage, leaving Foreign Stoker alone. After a brief pause, he returns to Foreign Stoker. He looks visibly shaken. His knees wobble. There's a slight stammer in his voice. In short, he's a person who has just endured a significant shock to the system.
Well, Bram, what did they think?
The man hugged me. It was like embracing a suit of armor. He called me Stoker Bram, and his eyes, they didn't quite fit in his head.
Bram, you're not making much sense.
He told me to watch how I dreamed, that it wasn't safe to be so loud. The woman with him, her eye, she touched my face with her tentacles. When I went to shake the man's hand, I found only...
Bram, stop having fun with me.
When I went to shake his hand to bid him farewell, I found only a claw. And he whispered a name as he skittered out. Dracula.
Stoker faints. Finn.
What a wonderful play. That old Count may never die, but we are not so lucky, you and I. Or you at least. Are you afraid of dying? This is Thanatophobia, written by our PDC member, Nickolette Jones.
It's truly quite amazing. Many ways to die. How the heart slowly ceases that annoying beating. The body slowly relaxes and finally becomes stiff as the blood cools and eventually ceases its lively flow. How the mind fades to eternal darkness, never more touch the mind of another. How the eyes' pure black pupils dramatically dilate as the disgusting flame within them slowly fades and finally extinguishes. Does the mind panic when we die? I mean, why does the mind frantically search for the greatest moments in your life as you stare at the seemingly endless gape of a pistol held by a dark-eyed, smirking man? What do you think when you feel the pressure of your lungs screaming for beloved air, yet you continue to sink down toward the dusty floor of the sea? Painfully beautiful cinder block tied to your feet and your hands lovingly bound together. What do you feel as your skin sheds its final tears? The large, heroic flames of a house fire steadily crawling forward while you stand at the last unburnt corner. When do you pick away the logic as a large, perfectly sharpened rope coddles your neck and a hooded man slowly pulls that lever down? What is it like to touch death? Does the body fear it? Does the mind fear it? Do even those who lie upon dirty hospital sheets foam tearing from their wretched mouths as their voices retch the silent atmosphere away? I mean, do they scream for life that they'll soon relinquish, or for the life that they know will not come true? Do you fear death? Do you fear the beautiful touch that wrenches you away from your cold, decomposing body, the maggots easing toward you as they hunger for your blood-tainted flesh? Do you have thanatophobia, the extreme fear of dying? When do you think it's your turn?
Something to think about. If Halloween is a night when the veil which separates the living and the dead becomes so thin, stretched, and threadbare that a hole opens up, then it is no wonder that those of us with evil intentions find it difficult to constrain ourselves on this night, the night when we can see through the veil to the possibilities of the other side. This horror story takes place on a Halloween night. Written by Alex Wilkie, a member of the PDC, this is When the Night Wins.
The setting is the front door and front parlor of Tom and Judy's house. This needs only to be suggested by a large wing chair facing upstage that Tom sits in, and downstage there should be a hall table large enough for a jack-o'-lantern and a bowl of Mound's chocolate bars. Judy carries a jack-o'-lantern, a box of matches, and an envelope. She places the jack-o'-lantern with great deliberation on the hall table. She places the envelope underneath.
Oh, what are you doing?
It's Halloween, Tom.
Yeah, I know what night it is. What are you doing with that stupid pumpkin?
It's called a jack-o'-lantern, and it's Halloween.
Oh, Christ almighty, it's like living with a 5-year-old. Have you seen the paper?
It's in the kitchen.
Judy looks outside, consults her watch, looks at the matchbox, opens it, shuts it, and then puts it down.
You're going to burn the house down, you know.
Oh, Tom,
Burn it right to the ground.
don't be silly.
Look how close you have to the curtains.
I'm right here.
Remember the Harrisons? They got up to the same foolishness with jack-o'-lanterns in the window. Before they knew it, the entire house was nothing but cinders.
That was more than 20 years ago. It was a Christmas tree, and they only lost part of a bay window, for goodness sakes.
My point is, their house almost caught on fire.
I'll be careful.
Oh. Not a single child is going to come down that road anyway. You know that.
Is it dark enough to light the jack-o'-lantern?
Not a single kid.
Well, they certainly won't come if there's no light in the window, will they?
Landry children are all in college now.
Oh, heavens. I'm not expecting the Landry children.
Well, who are you expecting?
I'm sure somebody will show up.
Who?
There's always new children in the neighborhood.
Neighborhood. You're talking about that Laurel Cove project?
Laurel Creek.
Whatever bullshit name they gave that pile of crap they built on Kenny's old place. That's the way the hell on the other side of the bypass. Kids these days are all spoiled brats. Not gonna come all the way down our road for a fucking Tootsie Roll.
I got Mounds bars this year.
Ooh, that'll start a stampede. I asked you again, who is going to come to way down here?
It's Halloween. You never know who will materialize.
Said that last year, and year before, and not each time, not a single kid. Looked like a goddamn fool standing there in that ridiculous costume and that bowl of candy. Jesus.
You remember when Ted Landry would pile all his kids and the Jantz kids and I don't recall their names now, all of them in the back of his truck, and he'd take off down the road and
kill a couple the way he'd load them on. Idiot.
And we'd have a fire and play some games. I gave a prize for the best costume. I still laugh at how Ronnie Jantz wore a red bathing suit, covered himself in foil, and came as a thermometer. Remember that?
Yeah.
No, you don't.
The Jantz kid, yeah.
You know, I was reading in Ladies' Home Journal that the Celts thought of Halloween as the last night of the year.
Uh-huh.
It was the end of the harvest, the return of the herds from the pasture, but they didn't call it Halloween. They called it Samhain, in honor of their god of the dead.
You got all that from Ladies' Home Journal.
Halloween as the last night of the year. I understand that.
Yeah.
For me, this is the last fun night until the onset of winter. Oh, sure, there's Christmas and all, but after tonight, the nights get cold. They get long. There's a saying that my grandmother used to have. After tonight, it's the light that loses and the night that wins.
Uh-huh.
But you never understood that, Tom.
Huh? No.
Out here, the darkness comes so early and stays so long.
It's seasons, Judy. Get over it.
It's the light that loses and the night that wins.
Can't be summer all the time.
No, not here.
Stop worrying about it.
Oh, I've stopped worrying about it.
Take off that goddamn stupid costume and get me one of those chocolate bars.
Judy nods to herself as if someone has made a suggestion. She lights the jack-o'-lantern. The face on the jack-o'-lantern has a particularly malicious grin. She turns it towards the window and starts humming again.
You hear what I said, Judy?
Yes.
Get in here and shut the door.
In a minute, Tom.
I'll tell you what, I welcome the darkness. Gives me an extra hour before I have to do the milking. That's what you mean by the night winds, and hey, bring it on. Will you stop that goddamn humming?
I see someone coming.
Don't be ridiculous.
Oh, there's someone definitely coming down the road.
Maybe one of those brats from Laurel Creek came after all. Maybe then you'll shut the fucking door.
Judy stands patiently, humming to herself. There is the steady, thumping gait of a large man as he approaches the house. He wears a garish rubber Halloween mask. He stops at the door and looks at Judy. She nods to Tom behind her. The visitor produces a large knife. He walks up to Tom's chair, and although we cannot see Tom, we hear his startled scream cut off as the visitor stabs him repeatedly with the knife. The visitor turns from the chair and stops at Judy. She gives him the envelope. He pulls off the mask, looks inside the envelope, and turns to leave, but stops.
You need help moving the...
No, that's all right. He can stay right there.
But how are you gonna...
There's going to be an accident with the jack-o'-lantern. A terrible fire.
Oh. Okay.
Treat.
Ooh. Oh, mountain spice. I like mountain spice.
Take another one. It's a long walk down that road.
You got that right. Oh, it's black as hell out there.
Like they say, after tonight, it's the light that loses.
Oh, yeah? Huh. I guess so.
He puts the mask back on and exits. Judy stands looking out the door. Lights fade.
How are you going to spend the night on Halloween? It's tomorrow, you know. If you don't plan to spend it like our poor friend Tom, you might be interested in going on a nice date with somebody. Of course, that's sometimes easier said than done, especially if you are an undead vampire walking amongst the living. Though I don't know anything about that. This play, written by Liam Forrest, is called... I'm saying the title now so that the actor can be ready. This will be Not Afraid. And now I say my little introduction that I wrote so that we can move on with it and have a good time. It goes like this. How wonderful to find someone so similar to yourself. You see, this will make sense when you see the last one. But there have been stranger matches made in our world and beyond our world. Much, much stranger indeed. And again, for James, who is doing the technical things, the actor for this show, which we are now doing, which is switched, is Violet, is the Zoom character name. Thank you. And the rest of the introduction goes like this. What would you feel, do you think, if you thought you had met an angel of God? This is Be Not Afraid, written by Ryan Stevens.
Listen to what I say to you now. I have witnessed wonderful things. I have witnessed miracles. Oh, in dreams, I have seen many visions handed down from God's easel to mine eyes. I have seen families long separated, brought together once again. I have seen mighty waterfalls burst, the spray of water upturned and shooting upward into the sky. And I have seen the coming of the next great era of humanity. I have seen it. I have felt it and held it within me. When I was a child, I knew that my eyes would one day behold something wonderful and grand. I knew that my time at school and my time at home, crouching over homework, head swimming with unknowable numbers and equations that made my eyes water, was all in the service of greater. The Lord was asking me to wait, so I waited. While other kids found pleasure in the physical world, with sports or clubs or lovers, even my family kept me on the right path. Church on Wednesday night and Sunday morning with nightly scripture readings around the dinner table. My greatest friends, my family. Oh, my mother and father, so kind and patient and always so full of wisdom. Both of them living masters of scripture, able to recite any chapter and verse that I might test on them. This was the house of piety. Even as my father toiled at the slaughterhouse elbows, deep in viscera of common animals, his mind and soul were constantly washed clean by his vigorous worship. My mother held the same rigor in herself. She was a doctor, prescribing medicines and supplements to help the body heal itself, unafraid to keep her principles in her practice. She saved many lives, and the lives she could not save would at least go to heaven with the knowledge that she had tried her best without betraying her faith. No unclean vaccines polluting the blood. Body and soul clean and unsoiled. Pristine. I live every day carrying the wisdom in me. When I first witnessed the arrival of the angels, I thought of them, how residing in heaven, surely they would be so overjoyed for me. But as they are nestled in the bosom of God, their every moment is overflowing joy already. The visitor, as I have come to call him, first came to me in dreams, bringing those wonderful visions with him. He appeared above me, above my home, above my bed, floating with outstretched arms to embrace all beneath him. The Bible tells us angels are no humans, no compromised vision of antiquated artists trying to simplify all of heaven's warriors into a simple human shape. Angels are majestic, wheels of fire, scores of eyes, true forms made of such things that test the human mind. So it was with him. To see him made my eyes water. In memory, I can only recall arms like tree limbs, but soft and supple, rippling in the air like the legs of an octopus and glowing a brilliant, gleaming silver. I saw him and saw how he saw himself within me. And though he spoke no words, I felt a ripple of emotion emanate from his form, and I understood. He means no harm. Be strong and of good courage. Be not afraid, neither be thou dismayed. So I was not afraid. I was ecstatic. I welcomed him and asked him to return. I received no word of answer, but another rush of feeling. If I wanted him, he would return, pulled to each other like a fish on a hook, the hook dragging the flesh towards fate. It cannot be denied. Well, I awoke with such glad feelings. Oh, but could not fit these feelings into words that I felt communicated the enormity of my joy. My sermon that week was meant to be on Samson and his might slaying so many Philistines for nothing but the jawbone and nevertheless. I tried to write a new sermon, one that spoke of the enormity of God's love and majesty, of his presence, and our own frailty in comparison. We are truly as nothing but twixt him and his host. We are so fragile, so breakable, and so easily discarded when one stops to think about it. The power that could so easily scorch the earth and scour our bleached bones, that could unmake glass white into nothing but salt, that could create life with hardly an effort, could lightly extinguish it with even less. For us, building is difficult, but destruction comes easy. For something that can create these, destruction must be a little more than an afterthought. Sadly, I could not arrive at any conclusion in speaking of my encounter. I just kept going on and on and on, unable to stop once I started. I scrubbed through 5 legal pads on a single draft of the new sermon. Sentences went on for hundreds of pages, unbroken by anything but my own frail hands. At last, Sunday morning arrived, and without a coherent line of thought, I went ahead and spoke on Samson. Often, as I am at my pulpit speaking my sermon, I will look out into my congregation. We are not very large, nor are we very young. Oftentimes, I am the youngest person in attendance by a margin of 10 to 20 years. I see the wrinkled faces of my followers. I see the age they wear and the years that press down on them. Centuries, all accumulated in their frame. I see how much closer they are to reaching heaven than I am. I become jealous of them, jealous of how much sooner their lives will end and their immortal souls will be in the bliss of the hereafter, while I have to stay alive down here on earth. It is shameful to admit all this, of course. I should be glad and rejoice at every day that the Lord gives me. I should sing his praises for every morning that I draw back. But I must not turn a blind eye to my own sin. I confess my feelings of frustration or desiring to hurry along my reunion with the hosts of heaven. I confess waking up every morning having to swallow a small tinge of disappointment when I realize I am still alive and still an immortal soul sewn into a disappointing immortal body. When the visitor came down from heaven again, years later, I had been waiting so eagerly. Never have I waited, never have I doubted, and glory be for me to tell it. The visitor was not the same. The fish had been reeled in. We were drawn together across earth and heaven at last, no longer in dreams, but in the flash. The great light, even more blinding, but I dare not look away. As he descended, arms again flung wide, I fell to my knees, not by choice. Gravity pulled us both to earth. He standing, me kneeling. But this was proper now that I think about it. I wanted to convey supplication. I wanted to kneel to him and be his and be part of a heavenly plan. He lifted me gentle as the breeze, and I let him lift me higher. I let these limbs take me so soft and so smooth, quick to curl around me. The light that shone so brightly burrowed through my eyes and into my skin, bronzing my skeleton. A heat so purifying that I could physically feel sin leaving me. Any resentment or disdain for my humble life swept away. Prickling behind my eyes, a deep warmth down my throat. I exhaled and let go and allowed myself the pleasure of this divine release that I was fated to accept. I had earned this. It was my reward from a God that sees and hears and listens and cares. And the burning and the scraping and the clenching, my skin redeems me. I am made whole. I made better, complete, made to what I was meant for. And the visitor, the angel, the bringer of my salvation, explores what I am bound to be. The visitor is gone now. Return to the endless quiets of heaven. Return to his duty of the Almighty side. Now, my job begins. Watching over my charge. Oh, I feel him, for surely it must be him inside me. Not in the general sense of a mortal mother. Not just this weight, not just the warmth of another body, a foreign yet familiar stack of cells within me. I feel it with fidelity. I feel limbs moving. I feel teeth gnawing. Sometimes he moves up inside me, up into my ribs, over into my arms, sometimes even peering into my throat to say, hello, mother. A curious child, a child eager to come out and meet the world. I feel him inside, churning and growing. It is an honor to serve my God in this way. It is an honor to host this creature beyond our mortal understanding. It is an honor for us all to receive him when his time comes. Let me tell you what else I have seen, for this child gives me the gift of prophecy. The earth changed, the stars moving, or rather the stars have been moved. My child, like his father, stretching his loving, terrific arms as wide as can be to receive others and send them to receive others and send them to receive others still until all are lined, arms outstretched, eyes wide, mouth smiling, laughing, calling out for joy. The silver limbs growing, locking together, the sterling forest of divine love. I see these things. I feel them in my bones. For this is my fate, and my soul, and my gift, given to me by him above. Given by me to you.
I love presents, don't you? How nice. We have now reacquired almost all of our wonderful actors. There is still one poor wailing woman who is yelling and screaming at the gate. While we try to get her in, we're going to have another change in the program. Thank you so much for your flexibility, everybody. The next play will be, one moment, I hear someone calling to me at the window. Yes, I will deal with that later. Our next play is written by a PDC member and the director of this show, who is conspicuously absent this evening. Her name is Sarah Billings. This play is called The Blood Orchard. The stage directions were to be read by this woman who is wailing at the window, who cannot get in. But because she is not here, I will do it for her myself. For James, the people who are in this one, that is Jean, that is, her name is Hannah now, but it must be Reverend Mother. That is Daphne and And that is Laura. Those are the people who will need to unmute. Thank you. I hope you heard all that. Scene 1, the gate. Late afternoon, yellow sun. Laura, a girl of 18, dressed modestly and simply, leans against a high wrought iron gate in a weathered stone wall. It is closed and locked. Jean, a young man on the other side of the gate, tries to console her, though it isn't easy to touch her through the twisted iron bars, which resemble the gnarled roots of an ancient tree.
Don't you worry about it, Laura. Whatever it is, I'll still come to see you. Why wouldn't I?
It isn't possible, Jean. I'll never see you again.
Oh, Laura, are they sending you away?
I'll never eat again. I'll never cry again.
Hey, you're making it sound like they want to kill you. Hey, Laura, they're not going to hurt you, are they? They're nuns, aren't they? Good Christian women. I mean, maybe they're not much fun, but they wouldn't hurt you.
They're not Christian, Jean. Haven't you noticed there are no crosses anywhere? That the icons on the stained glass depict no saints, no Christian martyrs, only...
What? What are they then?
I don't know what you'd call it. Pagan, I guess. I hear them at their services, the sisters, giving their devotion to the fruit, the earth, and the mother. But they are good women, Jean.
Do you want me to call the police?
No!
But you're a woman. I mean, you're not that cute little girl selling jam on the roadside anymore. They can't control you. Can't you leave with me? I mean, climb the fence, Laura, right now.
Listen! They don't want to hurt me.
But they're going to?
Will you say goodbye to me kindly, or won't you?
Oh, Laura.
And promise you won't call the police.
Sure. If you say so.
And you won't ever come here again?
If it's what you want. But I really...
You can't. You can't.
Goodbye, Laura.
Goodbye.
I'll see you.
If only somebody from the order were here.
Laura, I brought you jam and bread. I thought you might be hungry.
Oh, Daphne.
Come, Laura. Come away from here.
They walk away together, leaving Jean behind. He stares after them angrily. He suddenly runs forward and kicks the gate. It rattles, and he cries out in pain. As if summoned by the noise, a tall figure in hooded red robes appears at the gate.
Rattle the cage if you like, young man, but do not be surprised when the beast awakens.
Who are you?
I am one of the order. I honor the fruit and the earth.
What are you doing to Laura?
Who are you to her?
She's my girl, lady, and I want to know what you're doing to her.
The girl child is young. She does not yet understand that the thing she receives is a gift.
A gift? Look, sister.
No, sister, young man. I am the mother.
Mother?
Do not imagine that you can possess her, young man. She is destined for more than you know. Now go. Be gone!
The Reverend Mother raises her right hand with a clenched fist. Although there is nothing in it, Jean flees. The mother lowers her hood, laughs, and returns to the convent. Scene 2, the bath. A stone room in the convent. Pale evening light pierces through the windows, filtering through the stained glass. Like the tangled iron of the gate, the designs on the colored window panes recall the roots and the limbs of trees. In a central window is the image of a round fruit. The fruit has been bisected. It is open to us, and a dark red juice drips from the hollow in its center. Laura sits in a tub. Daphne kneels beside her, slowly washing her arm with a cloth. Folded towels wait next to the tub. Neatly laid out on a bench nearby is a white garment, like a medieval shift.
Is the water warm enough?
Yes.
You're shivering.
Well, the water is warm, but the air...
Don't sit up so straight then. Relax. Does that feel nice?
Yes.
Daphne gently lays her hands on Laura's shoulders.
There. I'm so sorry it had to be you.
Laura covers Daphne's hand with her own.
It cannot be a sister of the order.
It must be one without the sacred knowledge of the fruit.
It frightens me, Daphne, but I do understand it. I came to the convent as an orphan. I've been treated very kindly out of your charity, and on top of that, there was no reason that I should have survived what happened. No, there wasn't. And there was no reason that Sister Julia should have found me on the roadside. There was no reason at all that I should have had these few years of comfort and happiness since you arrived. I was still very alone before you came, you know.
I asked if it could be me, because I'm not a sister yet. I went to the Reverend Mother and I asked her, simply, if I could be given to the orchard instead of you.
What did she say?
Well, she said it's not for me to choose. And she said that I shouldn't be so greedy. I asked her what she meant by that, and she laughed and sent me away. That eerie, gleeful laugh of hers. Sometimes I wonder whether I should really continue with the order, especially now, with this.
But you believe, don't you? In the fruit, the earth, and the mother? The dance of life and death, the transcendent preservation of the human soul throughout it all?
You do listen in on the services, don't you?
And you believe this is a better way to live simply, to grow what you eat, to wear things you make yourself.
And of course, I don't have anywhere else to go.
Yes, and that.
You're trying very hard to make me feel better about this.
I am.
It must be such a strange feeling to be the one comforting me.
You've done so much for me. I only wish that I could live until we began to harvest the fruit. I've missed it all winter. All the jam in the world can't replace a ripe piece of fruit.
The eve of May must come before the summer harvest.
So it must. I'm ready to get dressed.
Scene 3, the orchard. Approaching midnight, Gnarled black trees stand in relief against the abyssal blue of the sky. Moonlight falls to the ground in supernatural shafts of silver white. Sparks and heat from a great fire illuminate the scene. We are all spectators of the ritual. Laura, barefoot and wearing the white gown of a sacrifice, is led on by cloaked and shadowed figures. She is laid down across a white slab. As the figures slip away, the Reverend Mother arrives. Her white starched wimple and veil conceal her hair and throat. Her robes are embroidered with things of the natural world. Gilded squirrels climb up and down her sleeves. Wildflowers bloom at her hem. She spreads her arms wide as she takes her place behind the ceremonial slab. She addresses the barren, withered, ancient tree behind her. Daphne is watching from her place.
As it came to pass 100 years ago, so comes it now to pass again. To the fruit, to the earth, to the mother, I offer thee to quench thy thirst, the blood of the girl child, that thou, gentle mother, may give thy fruits to us. I entreat thee, mother, that she, the girl child, shall feel no pain, shall suffer none, as her blood is given thee.
A wind blows. The Reverend Mother turns again to face us. She raises her right hand. In it, a glittering dagger. Laura's eyes are open wide. With ceremonial weight, the Reverend Mother lowers her arm. With her dagger, she makes a fatal wound in Laura's throat. Laura's hands squeeze into fists, the only sign that she is aware of what is happening. The Reverend Mother raises her left hand. In it, a silver chalice. Laura's fingers wilt. She seems to be dead. When the chalice is full of the blood of Laura, the Reverend Mother raises it above her head.
I give thee blood.
Holding the chalice high, she pours the blood down onto the earth at her feet.
Now thy withered roots awaken.
The ground rumbles, the sound of shifting soil, churning roots.
Now thy barren wood make leaves.
The ancient tree behind her obeys, sprouting leaves at tremendous speed. The leaves are red as rubies.
Now thy buds to blossom.
Pink blossoms cover the tree.
Now thy flower to fruit.
As the blossoms wither and fall, plump, round fruits emerge in their place. The branches soon grow heavy with fruit, brilliantly orange and pink against the blood-red leaves.
Now the blood harvest is come. Daughter, arise.
The sweet odor of ripe fruits and rotting flowers blooms on the breeze. Even the grass is watching the ritual. The air trembles. Laura begins to rise from her slab.
Laura!
Daphne races to the altar. The Reverend Mother holds her back.
Stay back, thou child. This is not thy place.
Laura, she's alive! She's alive! Help her!
Thou canst not touch her, child. She hungers.
She's dying, please!
For her, it is not the death of mortals. Watch.
Laura stands. Blood still spreads from her throat, staining her front with red. Her eyes are ravenous, though otherwise she moves with the grace of the entranced. Fruit shakes in the trees. Some falls to the ground, plump and overfull of juice. The Reverend Mother takes down one fruit from the tree. With her dagger, she slices it in half. The fruit revealed is not pale, but red. This is the image we saw in the stained glass of the convent window, a fruit bisected with juice as red as blood dripping from the hollow in its center. The Reverend Mother takes one half of the fruit. Laura takes the other half with perfect understanding.
Now, thou child, we eat.
At once they each bite into their half of the bleeding fruit. Daphne watches, her eyes wide with fascination and horror. Laura swoons and faints. Daphne rushes forward to catch her. The Reverend Mother also sways, but remains standing.
Laura, you're breathing.
Daphne leans her head on Laura's breast, feeling the rhythms of her heart and lungs.
She shall return to thee. She shall live.
But why, Mother?
Why did I let her believe she would die?
You let us all believe it, Mother, even Laura. How could you?
It is a mystery of our ritual and the will of nature, child. Life anew is granted only to she who hath full well accepted the coming of death. I have seen the ritual fail, my child. It is gruesome and misfortunate, which one does not wish to see again.
You've seen it yourself?
Yes, my daughter, I have. 'Twas I who planted the tree.
Then tell me, Mother, what will happen now?
Now, the bloody ritual is done. Death has been poured down to the earth, and the earth has answered with life. Until the time of blood renewal comes again, we shall always have fruit in the summer, and jams and candies that will last us through the winter. But these blood fruits do not preserve so long. They will rot before the morning. Therefore, we must not waste their pleasures. Now,
the Reverend Mother elegantly stoops and picks up a fruit from the ground. If there were any signs of her ancient age in her movements, they are gone. She, too, is renewed.
Our revelry begins!
With the fruit held high overhead, she suddenly crushes the fruit in her hand. She is mad with glee. The fire roars. Ecstatic cries are heard from the sisters unseen. The juice pours down her arm, blood red. Scene 4, the morning. The soft light of morning pours across the orchard, pink and gold. The blood fruits of the night before are nothing but blackened, withered skins. Daphne and Laura lay together, still soaked in blood and blood-like juice. Daphne has woken up. She gazes at Laura lovingly, one hand on her ribs to feel her breath. There is no one else around. Laura opens her eyes.
Daphne,
You're awake.
what happened?
I'm so sorry you missed it, Laura. You should have seen the sisters dancing.
What?
After the ritual, all of the sisters stripped bare and danced in the moonlight for hours. I still don't know who it was playing the flute for them. Oh, there must have been 20 flutes playing that wild melody. All of the fruits were crushed underfoot. They were bathing each other in the juice.
Fruits? But isn't it April?
It's the 1st of May.
My head is aching.
It's all right. You made it through.
I remember. But what happened after?
You've just been asleep.
What about you?
I've just been here with you.
That's kind of you, Daphne.
It's up to you now. I asked the Reverend Mother if you would be allowed to join the order now, and she said it's your decision. Most of the girls leave once they make it through the night, she said. They live for a long time. I mean, a long time, Laura. They do a lot of wonderful things. You don't have to stay with us.
I don't have anywhere else to go.
You'd find something. You could go with that boy, maybe.
Boy? Oh, him. No, I don't think I really liked him very much. I think I liked being wanted by someone on the outside. It's funny. Just yesterday, my heart was so confusing. Now I really understand it. I won't see him anymore. I don't know what I'll do.
What do you want to do?
I want to stay here for a while.
I'd like that, Laura.
Daphne starts to stand up. Laura grabs her hand.
What is it?
I want to stay right here for a while. That's what I meant.
After a moment, Daphne understands. She lowers herself to the ground again, still holding Laura's hand. Laura kisses Daphne. They gaze at each other with amazement. They kiss again. End play. Thank you so much, everybody. I ask you, James, while I do what is called stalling for time, that we see if everyone who is needed for the next play is actually currently in a house of horrors. You're telling me. We need the Reverend Mother, who is going to be renamed Hannah. We need her. We need a Reuben Winterstein. I don't know who it is, but we need him. We need a Jennifer. Yeah. If any of these people are not here, please let me know. We need a Rachel, who is also our Grim Reaper, who needs to be renamed to Rachel. The Grim Reaper from earlier, you remember her, how wonderful. And then we need Isla, who I know we have. Wonderful, wonderful. You people, go ahead and show me your faces. I know you're here, so I know we're ready to start. It's almost like the house is open and we're peeking out through the curtain to see who's there. And we see that there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's everybody. And that's all we need for this play. Okay, turn your cameras off and we'll be ready to get started. Thank you so much, everybody, for your patience. Remember the introduction I did for this one earlier? This is written by Liam Forrest. I never drink. Manischewitz.
Hi, welcome to JJ's Halloween Scream. I'm Hannah.
I am Reuben Winterstein.
Oh, well, Reuben, it's great to see you. Very exciting night tonight. Just looking for your photo registration.
Oh, I do not believe I was able to do this.
Not able to do the photo registration?
Yes, the photo, it was, I am not so young anymore, and the cameras are...
Oh, sure. Technology can be difficult for us all. You look great for your age. I bet the trick is to stay out of the sun. Keep your skin so clear and pale. My mother, she's always on my case. Hannah, you'll get a burn. Even now, 27 years old, you'd think I was a little pisher.
Yes, stay out of the sunlight. I am very sensitive.
Burn easily?
Extremely.
Oh, here it is, Reuben Winterstein. Old country?
Very old. It has not been easy.
Immigration?
Yes, it was very difficult where I come from. I lost someone very close to me. I think in America I will have a better fortune, but I come here and...
the problems here are just different.
And the language and the people and the food.
Well, I guess it's a big change. I went to camp every year, and I remember how scary it was those first few weeks, not knowing anyone, not knowing the rules. I can't imagine another country.
Yes, a big change, yes. It has been hard to connect with the people here.
Well, you're in the right place. I think you have a little something on your hot dog costume.
Oh, this is just a bit of borscht. Borscht.
Oh, sure. Me, I'm a klutz. So that's everything.
I can come in.
Mm-hmm.
What was that?
Yes, you can come
Oh,
inside.
thank you very much.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, please find the table with the number that corresponds to the number on your ticket. And ladies, feel free to move on if he's a schmendrick.
Hi.
Hello, my name is Ruben.
Oh, I'm Jennifer. Jen Rosenblatt.
It is nice to meet you, Jen.
Oh, I love a man with an accent. Where are you from?
Romania.
Oh, I bet it's beautiful there. I'm from Long Beach.
It is a little cold for most warm-blooded persons. Not very beachy, but it suits me well.
Oh, sure. And you're so pale. The sun must be such a struggle. Why, if you don't mind me asking, did you come here?
There was a woman, someone I lost in Romania.
That is terrible. I'm so sorry. And here I was going to make a joke that it was because of vampires.
Excuse me.
Well, I'm not sure if they really talk about them there, but here everyone is always saying, oh, Transylvania, that is where vampires are from.
I lived there for some time.
In Transylvania?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. See any vampires?
No.
Well, I didn't expect you would have. You know, I always thought, isn't it rough that vampires are supposed to be afraid of the cross? But, you know, since we're Jewish, we aren't protected?
Yes. I suppose.
Well, I guess if it was a Jewish vampire, I'd be safe.
Yeah, safety.
Right? You are somehow paler. Does food turn your kiskies?
Yes. I have a certain sensitivity to some bulbs. That must be it.
Bulbs?
Yes. Alliums, such as onion, leek, garlic, burn like a stake through the heart.
What's up with that?
I'm not sure, but he kind of gave me the chills, you know? And he really drains the life out of the conversation. Ugh!
Folks, it's time for our next partner. Gentlemen, please move one table to your left. Ladies, stay where you are. Hopefully, this one isn't a putz.
Hi, hot dog. Are you kosher?
Hello. I am.
Sorry. That was such a lame line. I was just trying to do better than I want to suck your blood.
Yes, it was very funny.
So, what made you came out tonight?
Why are you dressed like that?
As a vampire?
Yes.
It's Halloween. Well, it's just make pretend, you know? Dressing up like something that isn't real. It's all just for fun.
Yeah, all right, and you're such a mother.
Pardon?
Is that...
Is that blood stain on your costume?
Yeah, I should go.
All right, lovebirds. Time to move on, guys. As always, one to the left, gentlemen.
Hello, I'm Isla.
What a beautiful name, Moonlight.
I've heard that one many times before.
My name is Ruben Winterstein.
Winterstein, that would be Romanian?
Yes. How How did you know this?
I don't mean to be rude, but is that blood?
Wait,
Oh, you had a bit of a nosh before you came. You wouldn't be the only one.
not the only one. You're like me.
Well, I guess you could say we're Mishpuka. I'm from France, from Aveyron, Wolf Country.
Ah, shalom, Lupin. France. It's a bad place for our kind, even here in this century.
Yes, but if you are sharp and keep your ears up, it's quite manageable.
I have not found others like me for a long time.
I must assume you are advanced in age. How long have you been here?
You could say I'm an outercocker. Ellis Island.
Not a greenhorn.
The accent is hard to kick.
I like it. Gives you personality.
Actually, I came in steerage, though my trip was not uncomfortable.
No, with a cozy place to sleep?
Yeah, small, to be sure, but I slept like I was 6 feet under.
Let me guess. You're not staying for the oneg.
Not unless it's O-negative.
You know, Reuben, you're one of a kind. Truly horrifying.
I suspect, Isla, you may be just as ghastly.
Well, that's it, everybody. A happy ending at last, even after all that bloodshed. Ugh. So put away your bell, book, and candle. This is the end of our witching hour. Thank you so much, everybody, for giving us a little bit of your time. Actors, if you want to show your faces one more time and give us a final bow, thank you. And with that, we all wish you, from me and all of us, bonne nuit, gute Nacht, and good night.